removal is dead. Be honest with yourselves, especially those in bigger cities. So is junk removal dead, guys?
No.
Is junk removal dead? Let me tell you something about. Let me tell you something about junk removal. Junk removal. You're right now with my fellas right here. This is a paid for house with junk removal and remodeling and driving C7s and just enjoying life and going. My boy just came back from Monterey.
Absolutely.
You see, my boy just got a new truck. My boy has total control of his life, getting money. And that's what junk removal is all about, because we have full control of our life and we don't report for duty. Hello.
Charlie, why are you so mad, bro? Like, I want to know who's do anything in here, brother? Charlie, who did something bad in here to you, man? Let us know, bro. Come on.
No, he don't like me.
He's feeling real salty to somebody. Who is it?
Maybe because he's at work. I don't know. Maybe he's at work.
Right here. Didn't Small Dick say I was gonna go away?
You haven't asked one viable question. You haven't asked any question at all.
Dick sizes right now. You sound like P. Diddy.
Hey,
right
like
now,
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like Andrew diddied him with the baby oil. It sounds like him and Andrew are, they're in a lubed up sword fight.
On me and you, Jeff.
I would says not dead, just getting started, and that is true, man. Like junk removal is killing it. Yeah,
I see a lot of people saying, in the groups and everything, and just us talking among the connection, man, it's saturated. The market's saturated. I really think because junk removal is approaching, I don't think it'll ever get to the point in the home service industry of like carpets and roofing.
Hold on, can we bring Maria on here? Maria, come on. We'd love to. Can we send Maria a link?
Jeff, will you finish?
No.
Go ahead. Speak.
Keep going.
No, I think that it is approaching, that tier. I don't think it'll ever be in those home services, because at the end of the day, junk removal is a convenience. You know what I mean? It's a specialty service. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I truly feel that it has gotten closer more than ever to the painters, to the roofers. You know what I mean? As far as in people's local areas or whatever city, East Coast, West Coast, Florida, I think that it is, slowly approaching that spectrum. So that's why we see so many people doing it. How many roofers? How many painters? How many window people?
Influencers will say anything. So I'm just in here just because the influencer told me, and that's why I'm messing with junk removal, guys. That's it. Got it.
What I will say about the junk removal community, not that it's just saturated, but like the fishing community, my boy Matt Vick, he will vouch for me on this one. Like in the fishing community, we fish 24/7.
I caught a 50-pound striper.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, moving on. Why can't we? And I know all over the globe we're all different. Cost of living is different everywhere. But if we can all keep it, you know what I mean? Keep it somewhere 10 to 30, 40 bucks, somewhere in that sweet middle. You don't have to have the hauler to do a full load for a $2.99. We're in the spectrum.
Or for your
painters don't do that. Plumbers don't do that. Why can't we just keep it in that sweet spot, just across the board? That's all I want. Keep it where it just.
Maybe if you lead by an example.
Where'd Russ go?
Lead by an example.
I'm trying to get back there. I don't know what happened.
You got a question here.
Yeah, we lost
you. Hold on.
Charlie says, Russ, here's a question for you. When will you get from behind your computer screen and fight like a man? You talk all this shit about everyone, but you are a pussy. So, Charlie, I say that right back to you, brother. Come on. We'll send you the link right now. Show your face, Charlie. Come have a conversation with us.
Is Charlie really somebody else?
Or is this what
I'm just saying?
Is this what? I've seen the.
I've got it down to two people. It's either Ricky or it's Andrew. It's one of the two. It's in my head.
It might be that guy.
Is Charlie autopilot? I'm just saying.
Sorry.
I think it's Ricky.
Yeah,
when I would get
because he mentioned my name. I think it's Ricky. It's not. Yeah. That's who it is.
It could be Ricky Retardo. Who knows? I don't know.
Y'all are in
Maria
small
says,
towns,
I'm in a
big
larger
world.
city. Y'all here are in small towns. There's no real competition. I'm in a
No
larger
real
city. Y'all
competition.
are in small
Who
towns.
said
There's
In a
no
larger
real
city?
competition.
I'm in a larger
Maria,
city.
what city?
What city are you in, Maria? Yeah.
And she is right to a certain degree. If you're in a 250 to 300,000 person market, you're not going to have a lot of competition. It's not hard to win that market. But when you're in Los Angeles, Missouri, these major Chicago, New York City, you unfortunately just by just the basis of how many people there are, you're going to have more haulers. The more haulers you have, the more quality haulers you're going to have, and the shittier the haulers you're going to have because just the law of numbers.
Research it. Hold on. We can't all talk at once, guys.
I can't help you in California.
Okay, hang on. Go ahead, Paulie.
Yeah. So research it. People are not making money in cities. Only those in small towns or you Californians.
I would venture to ask you this, Maria, if that was the case, how come the largest franchises for Got Junk are all major metro areas? If they're not making money, how is Atlanta doing 10 million? How is Toronto have 34 trucks? How does Chicago and Sam, when he sold it for $10 million over to another one?
Russ, we're biting in the trolls right now. Now it's
now it's Maria.
Charlie.
Oh,
Maria's in with Charlie now.
I tell you what, everybody who's leasing that junk guy's name is in here now.
We have 1-800 junk in our city.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
But they're not making any money. They don't make any money.
We know that.
I did it in Phoenix, and that is one of the biggest cities in the United States. What are
Where
you
do these
talking
people,
about?
these trolls come from?
You have to be able to make solutions, not excuses.
Hey,
I think
right on
They call everybody here pussies, but they won't even come on here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, the queen has
what the
spoken.
fuck? Come on, big ass badass.
so.
I love it.
So I think the other.
Scared.
Denise, it's Republic. They got a troll count for you right now.
Tell them to come on. I don't care.
So I think the other thing where Maria jumps in and says that people aren't making real money, you got to remember, right? So when you look at the people in junk removal who are starting at the bottom, okay, and I'm just going to use like say Yee, right? So Yee started, had a career making 40, 50 grand. I don't know what it was, but I'll just go with it. Making 50 grand. He went out, bought a trailer, and now he realizes he's now making 75 grand. So to him, he just got a 50% pay raise, and that's a huge amount of money to Yee from where he came from. But then you have people who think that making $75,000 a year is a failure. And so to them, they're not making any money. So it really is dependent. I had a guy one time when I worked with him at the restaurant, and I was making like 125 a year. And we were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, but you're rich." And I was like, "I'm rich." And he was like, "Yeah, you're rich." I go, "Define rich." And if you ever ask anyone this question, define rich, there's nobody that's going to have the right answer because all of us have a different level of what we think rich is.
That's true.
Yes,
So so he told me, he goes, "Well, do you make more than 50 grand a year?" And this was like 15 years ago. So 50 grand back then was like 80 now, right? So and he was like, "Do you make more than 50 grand a year?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Then you're rich." And I was just like, it took me back because I was like, to me, those are real, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody, so please don't think this, but to me, those are like really low numbers. Like if you only want to make 50 grand a year, go work for someone else because you can do that with a CDLB.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you can double that and be a CDLA and go drive tractor trailers for Walmart and make 125 grand a year, full benefits from the day you start.
Or you could be like me, who was making 90,000 a year, driving a bus in the AC, chilling, relaxing. For duty every day.
But bro, 90,000 in California.
That's nothing.
You're getting food stamps at 100K. You're still
I was a union payer making
where you're at.
as a union payer.
Well, it's a little different when you have a double paycheck coming in and your wife is making money too.
Right.
And, you have double medical and we have double retirement. So I'm just saying I don't want to expose too much. We're a little comfortable.
You had a sugar mama. All right. I like it, Yee.
I'll jump into C7 and hop on Highway 1. And you know what I mean? Don't get me twisted.
Who cares who pays for it?
JB Lowen says the only bad thing is when guys try to start and charge $150 for a $300 load, like all the low charge people are the ones who's going to ruin it. But I got to say this, JB, they're gonna knock themselves out. Let them keep charging that 150. They're not gonna be able to maintain that, and you'll see those are the guys that'll be out in a year, bro. So I wouldn't really concern yourself with them. And the jobs that they're taking are mostly with the cheap people that you really don't want to deal with anyway.
But again, you got to think of it this way. So the guy that's charging $150 for a load, he's going to work for a half an hour.
Guys, over there, the 707 connection. Here's your one. I'm going to put you on mute right now. You guys got to stop making noise. Any little noise you make stops the audio and it messes it up for everything. So when they go to listen, it's going to sound like a bunch of animals here. So we got to keep it quiet. You're on mute right now. So you're on timeout.
Yeah, you're in timeout. Yee. Cut the shit. But so think about the guy, like, so JB says, well, I would charge $300 for that load, and that's what it should be. But JB might be in the business for a little bit longer. The guy that's doing it for $150 might have only just lost his job and has to do it for $150 to pay for food. The other aspect is he might have just came from Walmart where he was making $14 an hour. So for him to do a $150 job in an hour, pay $50 in dump fees, he's just tripled his amount of money per hour. So to him, he is doing really, really well from where he came from. Now, from where you're sitting, he's a crackhead and a meth head and he sucks. But that guy just might be young, not know what he's doing, and realize I can make $100 in an hour just picking up some shit on the side of the road. You realize you can make $250 an hour, but he doesn't have that experience yet. It's not always just the lowball guys who are just trying to run you out because they want to steal the business. One thing most people don't realize in junk removal is the majority of the good clients that are going to call you back, they don't want the cheapest guy because they're usually dirty, scummy. They don't have the right insurances. Their fucking truck leaks on their goddamn driveway. So there's a lot of reasons that they don't want cheaper people. You're never going to see someone in a plywood 8x10 trailer stuck together with tape show up at a $7 million house because the guy wanted to save $50. The guy in a $7 million house knows that floor probably costs more than what this guy makes in a year, and I'm not trusting him with insurance. So don't always think that the guy shooting at $150 is going to steal your job. If they are, then you're not marketing to the right people. It just is what it is.
And I said the same thing too to Mr. E. I think it was last week and all. And I was that guy when I call up somebody and they're coming into my house. I want that license. I want that professional look. I want that official truck. I don't want the crackhead coming in my house. I don't want him coming back that night trying to steal something out of my house. You know what I mean?
But if you can hear them coming from a mile away because their muffler's hanging off their truck, those people don't want them coming through the security gate. The security guards would be like, I'm sorry, you're not allowed in here. I don't care if Trump did tell you to come here, you ain't coming in. See ya. They'll kick you out.
Let me tell you, speaking of oil leaking on everybody's private roadways, like HOAs, that's how we got a lot of Republic's business because of their damn trucks leaking everywhere.
Yeah, they beat them up.
Yeah, our trucks don't do that.
Now, Denise, when you do that, do you do the dumpsters as well in your town?
Yeah, I've got roll-off dumpsters.
And that goes together with the waste management business, or does that stay with the junk removal and you keep everything separated?
No, I mean, it goes to the landfill also,
Okay. So how does that work out, like in your town? Like, what's the rules with you dropping off a container at someone's house? Because I know
there are none. I mean,
okay. So that means that's what Cisco, I guess, meant with an open market, because I know some towns you can't do it unless it has wheels on it. That's like the loophole that you could drop off.
I've got both. So they can have either or. I give them the option. Some people want it.
I think Denise's problem with not Republic so much is Republic owns the politicians. I mean, let's not just cut the bullshit. They own them, right? But not only do they own them, but they can force you into doing things that you might not want to do, or they might try to use obscure things like you can't put it in your junk truck, come back to your shop and put them in a dumpster, because then they're going to say you're technically a transfer station and that's not supposed to happen. And my argument to that would be, well, if I drop off an empty dumpster in someone's house and they transfer it from the
I've
inside
already
of their
said
house
that.
into the
But
fucking
hold
dumpster.
on,
I said
Russ.
that.
But
I
let me
said
let
the
me tell
same
you.
thing to the
Let me
general
tell you.
manager, man.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, explain to you guys what's actually going on here. This is how it's all happening. What you're not seeing is every year they're donating to the politicians when they're running for their thing. So you're not seeing that couple $100,000 check cut for their campaign. And that's exactly how they're doing. So that politician is going to listen to you on the phone and play like, oh, Denise, you're so right, so messed up. But then they're looking at their bank account and that check that they just got last month from Republic, and they're going to be an actor with you. They're
Political
gonna play like
donations.
but that's exactly what's going on. I'm telling you 100%.
Or they'll donate to the mayor's
Well,
favorite
sure it is.
charity.
I know, but that's still not going to stop.
The
I'm
only
going to
way
leave
to
my
beat
mouth
that,
open.
but the only way to beat that, you know what I mean, is do exactly what they're doing. Come better friends with them. You know what I mean? I mean, with the government, I'm saying in your area, with the mayors and all, you know, when they're running.
I do. I go to every city council meeting for the last 3 years. They're sick of seeing me.
No, it's not that. Make them happy to see you. Go donate to their campaigns and all. Do what they play the same game. That's what it comes down to, Denise. That's really where the power is.
We got a dumbass mayor. No, he got reelected. I'm not giving him money.
In New York, what we would do is when we were on a junk removal job and we found one of those semi-automatic AR-15 pellet guns that you just found and has no way to come back to anything that you may potentially have bought in your life, and then you find 7,000 rounds, you load it and you just drive by the Republic place and just wipe out 7,000 windows and just keep going and say, hey, and then put a sign there. Hey, how you doing? Denise was here yesterday. I don't, I thought about that in Rochester. I had an incident with the county. So what happened is the city of Rochester, I was in the transfer station that was run by the county, and one of the city garbage trucks backed up and totaled out my junk truck. Hit the front cab, broke it, bent the whole cab in, almost knocked the two guys out in the back that were in the back, and then they denied the claim. So what they did is they basically were like, yeah, you could sue me, but guess what? You're never going to collect because I'm going to deny the claim. I owe you the money, but by the time you get the attorney involved I'm going to drag this out for 3 years. The attorney's going to cost you 20 grand. I don't have to pay the attorney fees. So essentially what would happen is my attorney fees would have been more than what I lost. So they know you're not going to sue them. So they just drag it out. That's the disadvantage you have, is because if you were to ever get in any type of legal battle with them, they would just purposely drain your bank account, and then they would just teach you a lesson.
Oh,
because
yeah,
they have,
I know what their game is.
Yeah, and they just will keep, dragging it out because they have people on salary for $200,000 a year, and you're paying $25,000 for a court visit. You know what I mean? Like, they drain your bank account and kill you.
Hey, Charlie, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I look like a skeleton in your closet. That's cool, man. Maybe I can come to your haunted house.